What struck you in seeing images of that standoff between far-right supporters and left-wing counter-demonstrators?
Most of all, I think these images are deeply alarming for most Germans because of their association, inevitable association, with Germany's not-so-distant past. You know, some of what we're seeing are these small, admittedly small, because 5,000 people from the far right were involved, drawn from all over Germany, apparently, but using the sort of language and behaving in the sort of way that was closely reminiscent of the sort of behaviour of similar groups of National Socialists in Germany in the 1920s, before the National Socialists became the big party that they became in the 1930s. Nobody thought they were going to go anywhere in the 1920s, but they did. And for many Germans, because of that, this will be deeply alarming. The use of the slogans, the chasing after gangs, chasing after national minorities, the sort of language being used, that sort of thing, the Hitler salutes, all bring back unpleasant memories for many Germans. And perhaps it would be fair to say that it would be alarmist at this stage to think that we're necessarily going down that route. Nevertheless, the association with the past is alarming.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because we saw flags of the Eurosceptic AfD party, the Alternative for Germany party, which entered parliament last year for the first time. Are we reading too much into it? The AfD, which claims it's not far right, are we reading too much in the fact that there were those flags in amongst those neo-Nazis?
Well, you know, it has to be pointed out that it was an AfD MP from the Bundestag who said that if the federal police won't defend our demonstrators, they have to start defending themselves. That, again, is the sort of language you got from National Socialists in Germany in the 1920s. It's provocative, to say the very least. Does this mean that everybody should be worried that Germany is going to go down the non-constitutional path? Of course it doesn't mean that. But there is cause for alarm. The fact that the AfD did so well in Saxony, and particularly in this town in the last elections, is cause for alarm. Next year, there are regional elections in Saxony. The big fear is that the AfD and smaller parties on the far right may do even better that time.
Rob, it's funny, when you look at the news cycle this Tuesday, what have we got? Emmanuel Macron trying to rally those pro-EU forces with his barnstorming tour there of Denmark and Finland, while Italy's far-right interior minister is welcoming the Hungarian prime minister to Milan.
Yeah, I mean, again, let's not get this out of perspective. First of all, the visit by Viktor Orban, as you say, Prime Minister of Hungary, to Italy, it's not a government-to-government meeting. It's a political meeting between the leader...
But when you look at that, when you look at the way it's playing out, there's a feeling that these sort of battle lines are drawn.
It's tempting to take that point of view and fear the worst. I think there is cause for alarm. This sort of populism, there's undoubtedly a growing presence in Europe, is worrying. But one has to keep a sense of perspective. You know, Angela Merkel is still the Chancellor in Germany. There's nothing similar being seen at the moment in France, putting aside the National Front, which I don't think we can compare with what's going on in Germany at the moment. The fact that Orban and Salvini are meeting and talking, however, about possibly creating what they're calling a League of Leagues. Salvini's party in Italy is called the League on the far right, coming up for the EU elections next year, is a cause for concern.
Yeah, because Orban's party is still within the same bloc as the centre-right in the European Parliament.
That's right, and that's part of the problem that lies in that, because the centre-right, the EPP in the European Parliament, is loath to act against Orban because it needs his support in the EPP and inside the European Parliament. Therein lies part of the problem.
All right, Barbara Parsons, many thanks for that.